This is the Black Powder Podcast, coming at you live and direct.
Your salty tears season my life. It's the Black Powder Podcast.
Yo, what is happening? Thank you. This is the Black Powder Podcast, the only real libertarian podcast that has ever existed in the history of mankind itself. We were there in when the light, let there be light. That's when the Black Powder Podcast came into existence. I'm Marcus Matthews.
That's how old you are, Marcus?
Oh, here we go with the old jokes.
Man.
I'm Marcus Matthews, the only real libertarian, coming to you from the fourth largest economy in the world, chairman of the Wu-Tang Clan Libertarian Caucus, and I'm joined, as usual, by my brother, Eric Parker. Do you have any other names besides Bull Liberty? Are you the chairman of the like Merle Haggard Libertarian Caucus or something?
No, but I can create that and become it because
there you go.
So anyways.
And today we have a very special guest host, a friend of the show. He's also a libertarian.
Ish.
And I don't want to say he doesn't have a libertarian podcast, but it's not the only real libertarian podcast, but it's a libertarian podcast nonetheless. My guy, DL, Liberty Dad, how you doing this fine afternoon, my man?
Very well, sir. Very well. And by the way, I don't say I'm the only real libertarian. What I say is I'm the most objective libertarian.
Oh, there we go.
So there's that. We all got to have our shtick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody got to do what they need to do. We're going to give some.
I'm like the most bearded redneck libertarian. Does that work?
Well, that's why we're going with the Merle Haggard libertarian.
DL made me, for the record, those that don't know, DL was the chairman of Duval County Libertarian Party when I lived there and ran for city council. He had to rein me in. He made me cut my mullet off and trim my beard.
Duval?
You know. But yeah,
fun times it was. I'll never forget it unless I get Alzheimer's.
Yo, shout out to our girl Terry Batts checking in. Also, D, your salty tears season my life. Probably Marcus. Yeah, that's one of those things I like to stand by. DL.
Go ahead.
I just want to.
I was gonna say. Yeah. I was gonna say DL's here. Thought it would be a good idea because he's in Jacksonville. He's a libertarian. I'm no longer in Jacksonville. We could have a host here to help ask local questions to our next candidate that we're gonna have on this series. Yeah, our next guest.
I don't know if we should bring him in just yet. I'm kind of liking the vibe here.
Yeah, we don't want him to kill the vibe, you know.
Right.
But it is his episode today.
Yeah, I am, and I can see him crossing his arms and backstage, looking flustered. At any rate, get back here. He's leaving.
Oh no!
Hey, go to his screen now. As the
here we go.
No, come back! Don't
and we would like to introduce our guest tonight. He is running for District 10 in the great city of Jacksonville, Florida. I have no idea why I can't get away from Florida, man. This is disturbing me to no end. I
have no idea why you don't know how to read.
I have never touched meth in my life, yet I can't seem to get away from Florida, man. But
I'm not feeling you trying to get much closer to Florida, man.
I jest. We have one of the great voices in the libertarian movement as our guest tonight. He has a special place in my heart. I tell this man I love him all the time. And he is
I left you and I leave you on red.
delivered. He left you on delivered or red.
He said, I love you. Okay.
He is also a co-host on the greatest libertarian podcast there is. And that is
I'm a co-host on Liberty Dad anymore.
I only spent some time on there. I wasn't a co-host.
Right.
But today we have a very special guest. He's running for the 10th district in Jacksonville, Florida, like I was saying. Mr. Tub Rorabaugh. How you doing? Tub.
We talked about that. He's gonna. All right, is that it? That was real weird.
I can't do it because I started with diving into the scene because what I was going to do was every question you asked or whatever, I just go, yeah. And just be the absolute worst guest because I'm used to being the absolute worst co-host. Yeah. Now I'm going to kind of branch that out a little bit and see how far I can go. And so I didn't know DL was coming on until just before. In fact, Marcus, you messed it up is what it was.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to know. And I feel like DL is too adult for us. I feel like wait, I don't know how
I gotta loosen up. Is that what he's saying? He's like, you're a stiff man.
Yeah, no, I feel like at some point he's gonna say, listen, I'm cutting y'all off. Everybody go to your room. I feel like at some point that's what he's gonna say to us.
So
all right, y'all are done. Just go to your room.
Let me
I'm
ask,
not dealing with this anymore.
What does it say about you when a preacher tells you you're too stiff and you need to loosen up? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Oh
well, I want to make sure, DL, I want to extend this. It's not a privilege, an invite to you. Please insult Tub at every turn.
No, I'm a guest, dude. No.
Oh wait, yeah, I forgot that.
Yes,
Marcus.
My bad.
I do
Marcus
think.
Is about to shut up for the whole episode.
Let's throw in the occasional jab here or there and jest a little, but let's remember we are trying to help.
I'm a guest.
We are trying to help Tub get elected to office.
I
don't want to give the opposition too much.
So you're saying I should leave right now? Just exit now? Like, listen, this is not going to help in any way at all. All right.
His son says
some weird comments.
You see the well, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Put up Danny right there.
Danny.
Please do.
Oh, that's
all right. We'll let Danny throw some
any kind of things you want to get off your chest, Danny, please do so in the comment section.
He can, but what you also have to remember is I will see him. And I will see him in person, and that will then he'll enjoy these couple of minutes and then not sleep the rest of the night. Let's be very clear.
Well,
but also anyone from Jacksonville, if you have any questions for the candidate, please put them in the comments. And if you want to say local or something, so we know it's coming from somebody in the area. I know most people are, but there might be some names in there that aren't obvious to me. So,
all right, my bad. I just posted the first question for Tub.
I know,
and I shouldn't have done that because we got to get to the part, the who is Tub part from Eric. So, Eric, go ahead and do your thing.
Oh, we're doing like a real guest.
Yeah, you're a real guest.
It's getting real.
All right.
Hey, Tub, nice to meet you.
Hey, Eric, it's a pleasure.
Just wanted to know. Seriously, what made you decide to run for office this time? I know that's kind of, I guess not foreshadowing. What's the term? But anyways, it's explaining that I already know you've ran for office before locally in Jacksonville, but kind of tell people how you became a libertarian, what made you decide to run this time, how you got involved in the party and politics instead of just being a registered libertarian voter.
All right. So in reality, I was like a lot of them. In all honesty, I was libertarian for a long time, but never did anything. I fussed. I did what all libertarians do. We complain and we do nothing. And so I remember this was even last cycle when we ran before. Like I tell people all the time, I say you can't complain and do nothing. And then I realized at that point, I'm like, oh crap, that applies to me also. And so that's when we ran last time. And what it was for anybody who doesn't know, is our church had gotten shut down by the city, by the fire department. And so we started going through that process. And as I went through that process, I started realizing there's a lot of things in Jacksonville that are messed up. Like when you start pulling back the curtain a little bit, you see the ugliness of society there. Because I think what we tend to do is we tend to just go through our lives. We might complain about things. We don't really see something. And you all know that sometimes when you start seeing something, you can't unsee it anymore. And that's kind of what happened here with local politics.
Something you saw on social media?
Oh, dude, that's stay away, dude. It's just like that. So once you see it, it can't be unseen. And so I remember I was like, okay, fine. And I decided, okay, maybe city council will be the way. Now, bear in mind, there's a lot of things inside of this run, which is a continuation of that run. Okay. So like when we ran before, when the three of us were running, we had this understanding that our goal was to help spread the word of liberty through Jacksonville. Remember, and that was kind of an always underlying theme for all three of us. Like, hey, let's get the word out there. Let's let people know who we are. And I think we moved it a little. You did a lot, Eric, because of your one-on-one race. So I think we moved it a little. And our goal then was, hey, let's try to make it easier for the next group to run. And so with that, that's one of the carryover things from last cycle. All right, let's spread liberty. Let's let people know who we are, that we exist. And then the other part was I started realizing, which is also a carryover, is that city council members don't care about the people. They don't care. In fact, here, I'll kind of answer Dee's question with what she said there. So I realized that my email inbox is smarter than I am. Okay. And I'll explain it. What? No way, Tub. So let me explain it. So if your email is like my email, you ever send out an email, if you don't hear anything, it gives you an option to follow up. Oh, well, hey, follow up with this person. So that's what mine does now. And I realized a couple of days ago, you know what? Mine doesn't even do that when I've messaged my council member. And they don't even mention anymore. Hey, you want to follow? It's like my inbox learned. They're not going to answer. They don't care. And so it kind of gave up on it. And I realized that's the ongoing theme that is still in place. They still don't care. And so for this time here, I was like, okay, that hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. And like Eric, you know, DL, you've gone to some city council council meetings here in town. You know, especially during public comment time, they don't care. Like, and that would aggravate me when I go. So I'm like, you know what? This is their chance to hear directly from the people and what the people are really thinking and caring about. Because we know, okay, well, not you, Marcus, because you never, neither has DL. So Eric and I know that as candidates, people who leave the garage or the green room up on the second floor of the house, when people leave those places, they have other, like, they're not always thinking what we're thinking. They're not always, like, I know what bothers me, but that's not always what's big for somebody else. And I think that as candidates, we have this thinking that says, well, I know what I like, and I know what's bothering me, so this has got to be their problem. Right. And I remember I learned it. I learned a lesson the hard way last time, which this time here, I'm trying to intentionally keep in mind is, remember, Eric, you and I have talked about, I think I've talked with DL also. Marcus, we don't talk. I don't like you like that. Oh. I mean, I can talk all the trash and you can't say none of it. This is, I want to be a guest next week too. All right. So there, I'm going to point because it's right up there. So right up the street up here, there's a little corner store. And outside that corner store, they have a kind of a makeshift shelter, if you will. It's kind of like a canopy type of thing. And they just sit out there. Okay. Now, when I say this, they are predominantly Marcus sitting out there. Okay.
Older black men.
Yes. They have slightly more melanin than I do. And so I would drive by there. And I kept telling myself, hey, one day I'm going to pull in there and I'm going to ask them what they got going on and what their issues are. And so one day I did. I finally pulled
jumped out of his truck. They all ran.
Cop. Immediately they were all like, dude's a cop. And so when I went walking up to them, they were all very standoffish. Very standoffish.
You're like, hey,
naturally.
Fellas.
Naturally.
Look, you're a white guy in a truck. Can you kind of see how that, like,
Yeah, there you go.
You know.
Yeah, I see where it's coming from. So I remember we talked a little bit and they were like, oh, okay. Once they found out I wasn't cop, they felt better. Okay. Now I'm not saying they were all like, this is the greatest guy, but now they felt better. And so here's what I did. I remember I specifically asked them, I said, hey, what are the issues for you guys around here? And I knew in my mind what they were going to say. Like I knew what they were going to say. It was going to be policing and housing issues. Like I knew it. Because Eric, you know, DL, you know the area, it's Pearl Street. Right. So I'm like, oh, I know what they're going to say. And I got answers for this. Let's go. Like, let's talk about this. And I remember they looked at me, the one guy who's kind of the voice of all of them there for a minute. He goes, hey, you see that road right there? I'm like, yeah. They go, that road floods every single time it rains. I was not ready for that response.
Then you're like,
that is not. Yes. And I'm like,
because
of
the swimming.
I'll leave you alone. DL, I'll leave you alone on that one. I'm not even going to jump in on that one.
If DL's going to get some in, I'm getting some in too.
Hey, well, the black powder DL is way more punchy than the Liberty Dad DL.
DL needs to stop doing that early morning stuff and come on at night. You can get away with things. The boys in bed, you can say some stuff. So I just, so there was a level of, and I had to remember that even as I file and I run this time, it's the same thing. Don't go assuming you know what their problems are and what their issues are. Allow them to speak. And so tonight, I had an event tonight that I went to, and they invited me pretty quickly after filing. And I remember like, hey, do you want to come and speak? And I wasn't sure about the group. Like, I don't know fully what they believe, what direction they're going in. So I was just like, hey, listen, I would like to come in the first time and just listen. Let me just hear what's going on. Let me hear what you guys got. And then I'll speak at the next meeting. They're like, dude, that's fine. So when we got in there, of course, one was Anthony Brown, which us here in town, we all know Anthony. Another one, it was at a church, and I actually kind of know this pastor. I didn't realize it. So I was like, oh, this is great. So I'm going back. I'm going to be out of town for their next one, but then the one after that, I'm going back to speak specifically at that one. But it was good to just sit there and hear the issues, to hear the things that people really have going on as opposed to what I think it's going to be. Right. So that is the long pastor answer for, okay, Tub, why are you running this time? There it is.
That's a great, honestly, answer. It kind of explained history, some of our history together. I thought that was great. Marcus, you got any policy or issue questions?
No, I'm gonna hand it off to DL, and then we're gonna go to our first question. And I'm gonna refrain from commenting because I'm trying to keep this cordial and kosher
this
tonight.
This is the greatest show ever.
So they told me to lighten up, and then the main man is gonna be like all chill, and I'm gonna be awkward now. So okay.
Yeah, I thought like, DL's talking, I'm gonna leave the room. Just kidding. Go ahead.
See, here's the problem. I'm usually just one of the co-hosts. If I dip out of the room, y'all know, I'll just dip out of the room for a second. Like Melissa gets on TikTok in the morning. She does mornings every morning. She goes live, and I have to explain to her, hey, TikTok is not for every room in the house. And so all of the people who watch all the time, they all go. She'll go into another room, and they'll tell her, hey, TikTok's not for the whole house. So because what I'll do, I'll just walk out. I just walk out of the room. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. So, but I forgot we have an adult on here tonight. Sorry, DL. I didn't mean to do that to you.
Oh, I don't know if my reputation that precedes me is all that good or not. But anyway, so that was I think what you said was very interesting because, to be honest with you, if you were to say like, and people may not know this for you who are listening that are not familiar with Jacksonville, but if you go to that area, if you live here, it would be a reasonable assumption to say housing and policing, right? Mm-hmm. Like that would be a reasonable assumption. It's not even like, oh, it's just my pet issue that I've superimposed. It's a reasonable assumption. So I think that's a very fascinating, because I don't know that I've actually heard that particular story before, or maybe I haven't. I've just forgotten. It's possible.
You didn't care. It's possible you just didn't care.
It's. I mean, with you, all things are possible, right? That's a preacher joke. It's a pastor joke.
Not good. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a preacher.
All right,
it's
working
a
on
preacher
it.
Statement. statement. I wouldn't call it a
double,
joke.
double.
I
maybe
thought it was
triple
amusing. Yeah.
entendre,
So-
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let me ask you then, so you're out and you're talking to people. What's the number one thing that people are talking about in general, not just that one area? Like, or maybe a better question might be, what are you running on?
Okay. So for me, it's kind of a twofold issue. You have the bigger issues of the city, okay? Which is, it's the stadium type stuff, it's the downtown type stuff, it's overall crime, stuff along those, and everybody has their thing on those, okay? Like that was always a lot of my issue things before. And then you have what is more of the local thing, you know what I'm saying? Because Jacksonville is so big.
Yeah.
All right. So there are, okay. So for example, Michael Boylan was at that meeting tonight and he's the council member for Mandarin. Okay. Now let's be very clear. I'm sitting here, for those of us who know the area, I'm sitting right off of Myrtle Avenue. Okay. In a little church on State Street. Okay. And he's coming from Mandarin, and us here in town know those are two very different worlds. And so there can be different issues that it's going to be that varied. So for me, that now the local, the more of in my district type issues, there are some policing issues that I'm hearing about. Once again, it's more of which part, because the district is pretty diverse. It's actually more diverse than I thought. It's predominantly Black, it's predominantly Democrat. Okay. But there are a lot of pockets around, like even like my neighborhood right here. We're diverse, but I found out there's a lot of Republicans in this area. And
Shocker.
so, I got to find my people inside of that.
You got safe zone.
Marcus, would you say? So here's what happens. So you have the policing stuff, but you know what I'm actually hearing stuff about, as crazy as it sounds and as trivial as it sounds, that we dismiss sometimes, especially as libertarians: potholes, sidewalks, upkeep of property, homelessness that is in certain pockets of the district. There was a guy I spoke to briefly tonight because he was talking about homelessness in the area. And I talked to him after. Him and I were talking, and I said, listen, here's the thing. Homelessness it's a big issue across basically the whole city, in all honesty. Like there's portions of homelessness it's maybe not in DL's area because, he is that much nicer than all the rest of us. But as a whole, homelessness is around. But here's the problem. And this is what I'm willing to say. Like I'll say, I don't have an answer for homelessness. I don't have it, because in reality, homelessness isn't just this district, not just this city. It's a national issue, really.
It's not even a single issue for each individual homeless person. And you and your wife know that, Tub. So
right. So what I'm saying then, DLs, is there's the bigger issues of overall city stuff. And then, like I said, some of these smaller ones are kind of, okay, they're really worried about potholes and roads and sidewalks and just stuff like that, trash removal, things along those lines. Now, I have some answers for some of those other things, but as a whole, like I look at it and I go, okay, here's what I started learning. In fact, you know what's funny? We had a guest on this show when I was just a co-host and Marcus was being a jerk.
Wow.
Tonight, so all right. So now, DL, you can appreciate this one also. So it's a gentleman who's local to us that all of us know that is running for Congress.
Okay.
I think.
Are we not allowed to say his name?
I don't know. Are we saying his name? No, because I'm going to say bad things.
Is he a fan of us? Are we a fan of him?
Well, not just going to say bad things. He's not.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
we're
guessing
right now.
That'd be an awkward situation.
That
Like,
shit
hey,
was
Brian,
You're either
about you on the podcast.
all right, never mind.
So here's what happened.
Mark K.
He's all right.
Smart
He's running
man.
in a district of a do-nothing guy. That might help a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark K.
So here's what happened. I remember I asked him, and I said, "Hey, listen," I says, "what do you think is the role of a congressman for back in his district? I don't think that you just go to DC solely to worry about getting DC type stuff, national type stuff. I believe you have to represent your district also." And I started learning because, I've never been a fan about government giving out money to things. Okay. But I have this different thinking in some ways where I go, you know what? It's our stinking money. You're stealing it from our district anyway. Bring it back. And so I'm kind of like, you know what? If you got to go to D.C. and fight to get some of our nickels back again, do it. Like, and at some point, I listen. I don't care what it's for. Get our money back into our areas again. And I'm starting to have that thinking here in Jacksonville. Like, we can have the whole citywide thing, but you know what? Let's make sure we're getting something done in our own district. Let's make sure instead of us constantly spending money downtown, we're getting money up here that we can address the issues of the things that people want done around here. So I think that's the thing right there, Deals. It's trying to attack it on both sides. And so far from what I'm hearing is nothing. It's the stuff that as libertarians we sometimes dismiss. But it's the real issues of the people who are living in that area.
So if you want to get some of the money back, some of our nickels back, at least from city council, which where you would be working, what's your relationship with members on the city council or people that are running that might end up being on the city council? Because that's going to matter. There's 19 of them.
Yes.
There's one of you, similar to Schmark Schmay. You know, we're not going to say his real name, but if he wins, he's got, you know, and he goes to Congress, he's going to have, 434 people that he's got to convince. Right. And so, like, what's your relationship with what you have to work with?
Okay. So there's a level of personal relationships that I have with, well, hang on.
You don't have to name them, just in general.
You don't got to name them, but maybe list them and say their district.
Well, no, here's what I say. Like, if I say personal, I don't want people to think like I'm hanging out with them all the time and stuff like that. That's not what it's like.
Gross.
But there is a level of where we know each other. We can have conversations with each other. They see me. They know stuff along those lines. Okay. And so there's 3 of them in particular who are on council now. Okay. And they are all first-term council members. So they'll be there again this next coming. Because chances are, let's assume they don't lose their incumbent races and they stay in. So I have 3 of them. 2 Republican, 1 Democrat. And the Democrat is the one that, in all honesty, he probably responds the best back to me. Here's what I found, as crazy as it sounds. Now, if anybody who knows me knows I'm probably far more Republican than I am Democrat, obviously. But what I found, like Eric, maybe you saw it also when we were running, the Democrats were very open. They were open to having conversations. They were open to follow-ups and just and I was really surprised by that, to be honest with you. So there's those.
I feel like for me, it's only because I was challenging a Republican only, though. And that was when I went at large. And even before that, I guess when I was running District 2, my 3 opponents were all Republican. Like Democrats were like, hey, whatever steals votes from them.
Now I got to play that game the other way. So here's why. So DL, what you're saying here is what I have to be cautious with. Okay. So I have to have this level of separation from the Republicans. Like I do, because if not, I'm just going to get, because here's what happens right now. My race that I'm in has 5 people in it. It's probably about where it's going to shake out realistically. That's probably where we're going to be. There are 4 Democrats and myself, no Republicans. Republicans haven't ran anybody in this district. And it was weird because remember, Tracy was in the district, but not, because remember that's when all the redistricting happened and then he got messed up. So over the past 4 cycles, Republicans have not put anybody in this race. They basically ceded the seat to the Dems. And so the conversation that I've had with Republican leaders here in town, like, hey, here's what I'm going to do. Here's my plan. How do we make this work? Is I have to be able to say, hey, Republicans, I'm okay with you because I'm going to need your support realistically. Okay. But at the same time, I can't play too close to them because then the Dems are going to go, you're just one of them. And I'm not one of them. If I wanted to be one of them, I would have switched parties and ran as a Republican. I wouldn't have had to worry about it.
You're not going to win. You're not going to win this with, even if every registered Republican voted for you in that district, you still
not going to get done. Not going to get it done. So here's the thing. To go back to DL to what you said is how do I work with these other ones to get things back into the district? Now, I would like to think I'm not one of the libertarians that go, DL, how do we usually say? We're the party of principles. And you better just understand my way and understand how that's not going to work.
Right.
So I understand how it works and that, hey, I understand you want to get that done in your district. Well, here's what I want to get done in my district. Let's work together to accomplish this so we can get things done. So I think that I have some benefit by being the only. Well, we have another libertarian running, so let's assume that one doesn't get in. I'm up there by myself as this whole libertarian. Okay, so with that, y'all know we sit in this middle area, honestly, with the parties, with the two major parties, that we tend to have things on each side that we can agree with. So I think the best way that I would be able to get things back into the district is to, for lack of a better term, to play the game. You know what I'm saying? To say, okay, fine, I'm with you. I get what you're saying in this one with each side of the party, with the other two parties, realistically. Because I do know I'm one. Like you said, DL, I'm one of 19.
Right.
Okay. And I'm an outsider of the other 18, realistically, as a libertarian. So I don't think, and DL, you might know this. Eric, you might. I don't think
What about me?
I don't think
you don't know this.
Oh, okay.
No, you wouldn't know this. It's a local thing, Marcus. Just sit there and be pretty.
My bad. I'll
All
just
right.
sit back here.
So,
Sit down.
every now and then hit a button throw thing. Because
Let yourself out, Marcus.
You don't have to leave, but you got to get the hell out of here.
out of your own podcast. So ultimately, I think, and was that D who just said that? It's what I think libertarians have been talking about a lot lately. I think we're catching up. Coalitions.
Yeah.
There it is.
I
mean, and so inside of that, it's you find the ones that you can work with. If you know what, if you have one issue, if Republican, Democrat, don't care. If you have one issue that we can agree on, let's work on it. I don't have to focus on the 20 things that we disagree on, and I can focus on the thing that we do. So what I was getting at is, and like I said, you guys might know, I don't think I've alienated. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I've alienated any of the members. A lot of times if I say anything negative, it's about the group as opposed to this person. And y'all know I don't get into name calling. I don't do that type of stuff. Ooh. So prayerfully, just with you, Marcus. So prayerfully,
leave that to the podcast, bro.
I would hope that people know, hey, wait a minute. Tub's going to listen. We're fine. We don't have to hate him from the start because he didn't attack us unnecessarily.
All right. So we need to get
Marcus,
into this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we need to get into this quick commercial break here. And I want to bring up a website.
Is it for Colt 45? Oh.
Wow, I'm trying to plug you.
Hey.
My fellow libertarians.
For the record, I'm going to do a plug here only because Tub was our candidate. I'm drinking Dirtbag Ales.
That's low-hanging fruit. That's low-hanging fruit, bro. I don't even know. Anyway, can I get back to my little micro segment here?
Let's go, micro segment.
Yeah. My fellow libertarians all over America, we need to start at the local level. And the local level is school boards like Woodcraft out there in El Paso.
Ryan Woodcraft.
Local elections like Sam up in Junction City, Kansas. And now it's Tub here in Jacksonville, Florida, where we have an honest opportunity to win an election, but we also have to put our money where our memes are. And I have posted a link, donorbox.org, Tub for 10 link, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever you can give this man and help him out. That's how you advance the cause. That's how we get on stage with whatever boomers that the Democrats and Republicans put up in 2028. That's how we get this thing started with the local elections to prove to America libertarians can govern by leaving you alone and getting the government out of your lives. Because you're seeing this crossroads right now where there's a lot of stuff going on in our United States of Americas that a lot of us don't agree with. And we still vote for the same people over and over again, thinking it's going to change. Now is your opportunity to affect change by donating to candidates like Tub here, Pastor Tub. And with that being said, we're going to...
Hold on, Marcus. Can I add to what you're saying?
Yeah.
Dude, you don't treat us. I just want to say,
Go ahead, Tub.
I'm just used to our normal banter.
I want to
Oh
add.
my god!
What was that?
Here he goes again.
I'm just used to our normal banter. My bad.
No, you don't get to. So no, here's what I'm gonna do, because I believe in openness when it comes to money. Like for me, for the church, for city council, for all openness and money. How are you spending money? What are you doing with money? So here's what I'm telling you. Any money that I'm raising right now immediately gets put in the account and it sits there to pay for my ballot access. Okay. Because as we know, I could get petitions. Petitions don't play out well. It takes forever. It doesn't, the system, it's not horrible. We understand that Florida's not horrible when it comes to candidates. It's not horrible. But when Eric and I remember, Eric, so we went in, we started out doing petitions. We're going to get petitions. The process is tedious. It's a mess because we spend all of our time.
They throw out half
things.
of them.
So here's what happened. One day, Eric and I went in together because they tell you when you get petition signed, bring a small amount in first. And so then kind of get the account and get moving. So we went in, Eric and I went in together, and they kind of thumbed through them a little bit when you first turn them in. And she goes, hey, this one here is no good. And I looked at it and I go, it's Eric. I'm like, this is the one he filled out. I said, how many petitions does he have to have before he does it right? So he took it, he filled out a whole new one right there. Later on, 3-4 days later, he's got kicked out again.
Yeah.
And
well, he probably can't
spell.
spell.
My signature didn't match.
He was doing it on purpose. I'm sorry.
He's salty. He's salty.
Seriously, it was saying my signature didn't match the one on file. So, like, if you filled something out at supervisor elections with the back of your driver's license 30 years ago, or however old you are, 10 years ago, and it doesn't match now, like they got to throw that petition out because the signature.
I'm only 27.
I was standing in their office, and they could have approved it then. But anyways.
All right.
And so so it was because of that. Hang on, this is what I'm saying. So because of that, we learned this time here, not going to do it, and I made it very clear. I'm just going to, and I hate giving government free money. I hate it. But in reality, so any money that's raised now, we had a couple expenses that we've been able to cover already. So anything that's saved is going in the account. It's actually what I did last time. I took it and I put it aside. It stayed in the account. I didn't do anything. I didn't spend any of it. It stays there for that purpose. Once that money was raised and we got to the next amount, then we started ordering more things, more palm cards, stuff along those lines. Because my whole thing is what happens if you go through all this stuff and then you don't have money to get on the ballot anyway. So I chose to make wise choices, and which I'm doing this time here. Set the money there. It stays there. Don't mess with it. That will make sure that even if I don't raise another nickel after that, I can still get on the ballot.
All right. So that's donorbox.org/tub-4FOR-10. Now I want to get to this question.
Or tubforliberty.com.
We got that one coming too. We have a question from D, who's also a Duval person. Pastor Tubb, I've seen you on social media talk about your representative not answering your calls and emails. You kind of did talk about that earlier.
I did.
So I'm not going to let you expand on that.
Can you talk about?
Hey,
yeah,
I'm the guest. All right. Listen, look at me. I'm the guest now. All right. I'm the guest now. Now
I feel like this is a preview for when we go to city council to kind of speak our piece. Yeah. And you're like trying to talk, and then the council members just can interrupt you.
Just say, shut up. Shut up.
And we also talked about where your district is located, so we could skip that one as well.
I think you just don't want. I just don't think you want D to have a part of the show.
How about you cover a little of both right now? Tub, what have you been reaching out to your council person about that they're not responding?
Okay, so initially it was to find out about some things that we had going on in our neighborhood right up here, because what they were doing is they were putting in some speed humps. They wanted speed humps next street up, and they actually did something through the process. I actually wasn't horribly against. First, you had to go through and get the people in the street to say, yes, we want them. And they had to be the homeowners, not renters, stuff along those lines. And then you had to raise a certain amount of money towards them. And I'm like, hey, I'm not mad at that, to be honest with you.
Wait,
It puts
property owners had to raise some money towards the
neighborhood.
I'm cool with that.
I'm cool with that. Like, I had no issue. So here's what happened. So what happened after that? So once I was getting closer to saying, hey, I would like to run, I was like, you know what? Honestly, the best way to find out whether I should run or if I can even help in running was let me get a hold of the councilwoman. Let me make an appointment with her and go, hey, what are you dealing with? What's going on inside the district? And that way, because my thinking was okay, if there's a bunch of things that maybe I don't agree with, or I got no help in this one, maybe I wouldn't run. I'm like, because if I can't help, I'm not going to run. That's the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? Why waste everybody's time and money? So my goal was like, hey, let me have a talk with her. And if there's things that she's working on, I'd go, hey, wait a minute. That's a good idea. Let's continue that. You know what I'm saying? So that was a lot of the more recent times I tried to reach out. Now, bear in mind, I don't do it with anything of trying to set her up for failure or anything. She doesn't reply at all. And here's what I'm finding. Even tonight, that event I was at, they said, hey, listen, they're like, hey, there's a councilwoman that belongs in this district, and you realize Jacob Pittman didn't even show up at all. And that is the theme of the district.
And here,
good.
Yeah. Here in California, we call them council humans. So we'd appreciate if you would. We want to be inclusive.
Council practicing
I
Homo
hope
sapiens.
that's a joke.
It is.
Yeah, you don't know what that is. I was like, that
in California, you don't know. Like,
well,
all right.
we do have a first partner. Our governor calls his wife the first partner. And
Really?
everybody knows I can't stand Gavin Newsom. You know, I will never take
Gavin Newsom?
Scum.
Yeah, what's wrong with him?
But I will never take
Seems like a nice guy.
advice on how to defend myself or how to live my life from a man that sits down to pee. And that's who Gavin Newsom is. I have no respect for that individual whatsoever, but I'm sorry.
Are you watching?
Did you see him?
Well, in California,
we have all inclusive bathrooms here in California, so it's a free for all. Let's not get into
the
that.
walls. Anyways, all
right. Let's go back to
since
DL.
You got DL, you got anything?
Yeah, go back to the series. Go back to the real guy.
A real guy. Okay, so let me I'm trying to think of, what would be kind of interesting for people to hear about. I had a question a moment ago and then I've lost it. So I'm trying to think on the fly.
That's why you
here.
gotta write stuff down, DL.
If you want, I can take over.
You gotta write it down.
DL, I can ask one while you try and remember.
Yeah, I had one a moment ago and then I'm like, where did it go now that I'm ready?
All right. Tubb, so let's get into the part of this that I know and love is the campaigning part. And you've discussed what the money is going to from here forward until you meet qualifying fees. Can you explain to people all of the things that you've already spent money on? And I know it's like, well, that's kind of weird, but like a lot of people don't realize just to get your feet like on the ground costs money. So could you please?
Oh, they're outside. Hang on. I was gonna go.
All right.
I was gonna go. No.
Well, you can just tell us. We don't need a visual aid.
Ask them about money and they leave.
Yeah.
Where you spending money? Bye.
It's only two.
You got my wallet in your hand. Come back. I'm just kidding.
So far, there's only two things. So here's what happened. I started raising funds, and the first day that I realized, okay, I'm ready to raise funds, got everything set up, we're ready to go, got it done. I was intentional about it. We raised $500 that first day. Just like, okay, hey, guys,
you're welcome.
It was, hey,
you're welcome.
I was gonna say, thank you guys. You guys were part of that. And then after about another week or so, a little more than a week, we were up to $1,000. And so what I said about that, now let me be very clear. I didn't spend that much on these two things. I got the website set up, and because the guy was it's the guy I know, he does our church website. He did my campaign site last time. He's a Canadian. But it's
wow, trader.
Maybe the way the money transfers over, probably is doing well. So here's what I'm gonna tell you. So he did my website for me for $250. Okay, so I got that's done. The website's up and done. And then I got palm cards for the first set of palm cards, and those were like $100, $150, $160, something like that. And so I have those. Now I have enough of them to get me going for a little while. So that's it. So the other $700, roughly $600, is sitting in the account already going towards the ballot access.
How much does that cost?
We got about let's overshoot it here. Is it $2,000?
Yeah, so it's about $2,500, but
that's ridiculous.
A caveat though, it's actually going to be slightly higher than that because it's based off 3% of the salary, and they're all getting a raise in October.
They're doing that to raise your qualifying fee. That's why.
Yes. Now here's what I'm going to tell you: the good thing that the state of Florida, the LPF, not the state of Florida, but the state party of Florida, they actually waived the fees, which actually saves about $1,400.
Can you explain that to people that don't understand, like how the major parties and your qualifying fees goes to directly to the party, a portion of it, anyways? Could you go into that stuff?
Yeah, so so I know here locally for city council stuff like that, it's like $1,400. It's right around. It's like $1,400 that goes to the party. So that's why the party overall doesn't care. Put candidates in; they're going to make money off of it. You know what I'm saying? If they're not doing ballots and they're paying access, the parties are going to make money, and that's where the Libertarian Party actually does well. They're actually kind of like, hey, you know what? We want candidates. And so we're not worried about kind of scoring our money out of that or anything. It's just that we want candidates. We want them to run. So that actually, it's a big help. Because remember, Eric, they did it for both of us last time.
Yeah.
And
they had to send a letter to our supervisor of elections saying we waive the fee for our party.
Yep.
Republicans and Democrats aren't doing that. Because if they do it for one person, they got to do it for all of them. And then they got, 19 district / at large, and there's several candidates running each one, and they would get $1,000 basically from each one of those people. So they're not.
So they're not going to let that go because they're going to make money. That's
all they really care about. I mean, money and power. That's all they care about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Heck yeah.
So those are the two things so far that we spent money on, and right now there's nothing else. Like I said, my goal is to raise all the funds to save away for ballot access.
Wait,
all
so
right.
when is the election?
Do you remember your question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Dio.
I think Marcus, were you asking something?
Yeah, when is the election? March.
There's a
next year.
Yes, there's a unitary election that happens.
Okay.
So what happens is the top, unless somebody gets 50%. Somebody gets 50% over 50% plus 1, it's done. If nobody does, then the top 2 go into the general. Now, let me explain something out here. So, like I said, there's 4 other candidates besides myself. They're all Democrats.
I was going to go with
now.
Let's talk it.
The last deal, you'll like this part because you like when we know our numbers. So the last election that we had, she won it with 6,311 votes. She got just under 65% of the vote in the unitary election. Now, bear in mind, she was the name. She was the name everybody knew because when she gets done, because she termed out, when she gets done, she'll have spent 10 years in city council because she got appointed for 2, which gave her enough time to run for 2 more terms. So the name is out this time. This time the name is out. Okay, we don't have the big name pulling out. So now there's a better chance of the votes being broken up. There's no one big name in there anymore. In fact, there's no big name in there at all. So it'll fracture that up a little bit, which, as crazy as it sounds, actually works to my favor. Because what I got to be able to do, and I've already started getting the hardware. I got my mapped out where because now
hardware.
For website stuff.
Oh,
I mean, for voting voter
okay.
information. Yeah.
A little sensitive. I'm a little jumpy in these days.
Yeah. No. So no, not that. So inside of that, so there's a way there. There's a way for it to be done. I can focus listen, the plan is to focus heavily on anybody not Democrat. If you're not Democrat, there are a number of parties there are parties I never even heard of. I'm not going to lie to you.
Like the Libertarian Party?
Like the Libertarians.
Yeah.
And so there is a path. Now, I've had conversations with a notable person of an opposing party in town. I don't want to throw any names out there like this, but we've met a few times. We've talked about, and there's an avenue. There's an avenue there. Now, in reality, the best way to do it and to attack it is to plan on winning it in the unitary election. Like,
So
put it
in
all
the
out there.
first round,
Yep.
Right.
Let all the votes
get
split up.
50% in
Plus
March.
one.
Is what you're saying.
So
And-
that's
wait.
interesting because
Is that
if you
this March? Like we're in March? You mean next
March.
March?
And this book right here. Remember when we had
Plug.
Eric Frankie on? See, so there's a little plug for the book. So when he was on, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get that book, and like I've actually been going through it. I'm like, wait a minute, there it is. And right now, one of the things that we're working on is okay. Don't go to the people that are borderline voting people. If they tend to stay in their party, but they like if they're Dems, for example, and they kind of vote, but not overly regular, leave them alone.
right.
Don't remind them there's an election. Leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm actually kind of going through. The book has actually been a big help. And the good thing about it this time here is, like, Eric, you know, DL, you were around it, so you saw it. We didn't have a whole lot of help. In many ways, we were kind of a one-man team, except for the three of us kind of working together. But it's kind of, we got to figure it out. There's already been a matter of incorporating people with me. People are already saying, hey, I'm here. I can do this. What do you want me to do? So we've already got a small team, if you will, in place already. And we're just getting started. And the way I see it is this. My initial door knocking is me. Has to be me. For first contact for all of these other ones, it's got to be me. It's got to be the candidate himself.
Right.
And then after that, we can kind of start filtering out a little bit.
Right. So that's interesting because I was looking it up, and it looks like in 2023, Jacoby Pittman, she got 64% of the vote. But then two of the people that are actually running in the race this time around, Chambliss and Hopkins, they only got 13% and 10% respectively. So presumably they'll get a little bit more than 10% because there's not the big name to suck up, but presumably they'll still be, because I'm looking at it and I'm seeing that there were basically four major names. There was Jacoby Pittman. She got 64%, but then you had 13, 10, and 10, right? So it looks like, the other names aren't maybe as popular. And so it does kind of look promising. And I don't know some of the other names that are in it. So what I was going to ask you is, I'm going to ask you the tough question here.
Okay.
And maybe you kind of already answered it. So you're in a heavily Democrat area. I believe that all four are women. Looks like from their names, they're all four women.
They are.
And I believe they're all black women.
They are.
So you're a white fella and, not bagging on you too hard for that, except for the white privilege and, all the other stuff. But all that aside, what is your plan to go into a district that is largely black, has voted largely black, and vote as a white guy? I mean, I'm sorry, not vote, but get elected as a white guy. Like, how are you going to get past the racial barrier? Because whether we like to talk about it or not, it's there.
Okay. So here's the thing. First off, as crazy as it sounds, I don't think racial barrier is going to be my biggest issue. I'll talk about that in a second. But here's why. I think in certain portions of the district, my libertarianism is going to be a problem because I'm not big on government handouts. And when you start being honest and you start saying, hey, I don't think you guys should be getting that in the first place, that's going to be, I think, my biggest downfall. Because all I have to do now, I'll just go around and I talk to people and go, hey, one of my friends is a black man. Talk about Marcus. And so I'm all set. Now, realistically,
I got a black friend.
Here's what happens. There is, because of the size of the district, because of the variation inside of their diversity also, here's what I found. Last election showed that the people in the district as a whole, now at this point right here, I'm not breaking them down by race or anything. It's as a whole. They are unhappy with what they're getting. Here's why. If you take those same numbers that you just looked at, if you go and you look up ballot, people in this district voted way more for mayor and they left the district blank. So that shows us that there's a level of, they don't want that anymore. They don't want not just Jacoby, but period.
Same old.
Yes. So I look at it, I go, here's my opportunity as the outsider who's not a Democrat, because I have numbers that show, hey, wait a minute, people might actually be ready for something different here. Now, also with what you're saying, there is still going to be that issue that as soon as I walk up, it's the white guy. It's the reality of things. I get it. Now, because of the way that the district is set up, it's pockets, if you will. And what I mean by that, like there's one portion of the district right over here, like I can point, and some of you guys will know what I'm talking about over here in the Moncrief area. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Moncrief is heavily, predominantly black. It just is. Okay. And that's fine. So it leaves other portions of the district in play. So what I have to do and what my path has to be is hit up all the other ones. I got to be willing to get in. And like I said, hit all of everybody who's not a Democrat. Start with them. Find out the ones who've been sitting out. Because once again, the platform that I'm using for voter information is showing that. So I'm able to look at it and I can kind of put race aside a little bit. Now, I'm not going to lie. Okay. Let's be very clear.
I hope not. You're a preacher.
Y'all see how many times y'all see my little grandson come running in here?
Yeah.
Okay. And so here's what will happen.
Oh, you're going to take it with you?
Yeah. Bring him and your
thing.
sons with you.
Make sure.
Take it with me. Hey guys, come on, we're going out.
Make sure that he's watching the Pivot podcast while you go.
The Pivot podcast?
Pivot podcast, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So inside of that, I can be like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Hey, look, I just want to let you know. Look, here's the thing.
That was bad. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say this? Am I allowed to say this like this, Marcus? You tell me as our
resident brother.
As a resident black man. So here's what I found, and Melissa will usually tell you: older black women like me. They
probably do.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Tub, take this with a grain of salt, but you're a pastor, and believe it or not, a lot of older black women Democrat voters are still Christian church-going women. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like if you lead, and I'm not saying lead with that, but you get my point. Like they found out you're a pastor, and we went to those same events in the black churches, and they're like, "Oh, pastor," you know, and you know,
it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. I don't know, Marcus. Sorry, I stole that from the brother.
Well, I mean, that's all you people do.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
But
it's our thing.
I'm saying, you need to have a cookout. I'll come out there and make a brisket. You got to pay for all my travel expenses, and I'm staying at your house. Probably sleeping in your bed.
Everything was good to right about there. Right about there is me lost.
All right. He gets
getting a little weird now, but okay.
We'll get an Airbnb.
No, not
together,
with him.
But
heck no, I don't do the swirl.
He's not a Republican. We don't
the
do
bar
that
sounds
kind of thing.
good. Staying at your house, not so much.
Tub, it'd be cool if I'll come out and I'll do the pork butt since Marcus don't cook or eat pork.
Allah forbids it.
So, but you're Christian.
But your dad was a deacon, right?
Yeah.
But do you know in Aramaic, it's what is it? Eloah?
All right,
it's almost
we're getting off track here.
Okay,
wrap it up. Get off tracks.
No.
Hey,
Okay.
I don't know who's willing to go over an hour, but yeah.
Okay. So let me follow up. You said that your biggest issue is probably going to be being a libertarian because the district in general is used to being promised handouts and stuff like that. So when you come across somebody and for something local, have you worked out because here's the thing that I think people forget. If somebody's getting something, there's presumably a need or there's a dependency of some kind, whether it's a real need or whether they just gotten used to it, whatever the case. And so you generally have to say, here's what you're going to get that's better. What's better? We can't just be the libertarians and go, no government, that's better, because that's not going to work. What's your alternative?
Okay, so in reality, there was actually, when we were running last time, we were putting signs out, and there was a guy that I was running against. He had hired some young black guys to go out and put signs out, and I remember I was talking to him. I said, "Well, hey, why are you working for him?" Like, "Oh, I'll vote for him." I said, "Why?" And they were like, "Well, because he's promising all those things. He was promising a bunch of things to them." I said, let me ask you a question. I says, how many people you know in your family or in your neighborhood or anything like that who have been arrested for weed? And they're like, both guys are like, oh, and they know, because that's what it is. I said, think about this. I said, don't you think that maybe your life could be better if we got rid of such penalties for marijuana possession? That just maybe then you wouldn't have a criminal background, which then you can go get the job, the apartment, these type of things without having that stuff sitting against you. So what we would be doing is actually finding a better way for you to be able to go live your life because we're taking hindrances away from you. And that was the pivot. That was because the other guy was promising stuff and I didn't want to promise. I'm not going to promise you stuff. Like, I'm not going to do that. But the pivot was to say, hey, what if we were able to get rid of obstacles? And for them, that was like, yeah, Melissa will tell you, she was with me when I did that. She's like, yes. Because at that point, they were right there. I think they were like, dude, why am I putting this guy's signs out? Because it was enough. So you've got to be able to, you don't just go, no, that's horrible, forget about it. You got to give them something else that seems like hope. Something else that makes them go, hey, you know what? So like I have found already in conversations, if people want the handouts, they want the things, and they think that because libertarians, we're against everything, which, we are. I make it very clear. I said, listen, I said, I'll tell them, I said, listen, I said, I know I don't like government handouts, and I've done this when I've turned it. I don't like government handouts. I don't like them do. I said, but I'll tell you right now, there's a couple of things here in Jacksonville, which I think spending our taxpayer dollars on are great. And once I say that, they're listening. I go, the library system and the park system. And when they go, why? I said, because everybody can use that. You don't have to pay any extra money. It's taxpayer dollars being used for taxpayer things that now we have access to. And I says, that's what government should be doing with taxpayer dollars. And like I said, what it's doing to them, I didn't promise them anything, but I'm showing them something to go, hey, I'm not against using taxpayer dollars, but it shouldn't be for these things. Instead, let's focus on what I do agree with, how I do feel like this is a good way to spend the money, that we all can use these things. And so it doesn't seem like a shut you down, you suck, get rid of all of it. It's the pivot. It's the, okay, I don't believe that's the best thing. Now, here's what I found. Sometimes, anybody who's run, you know it, Eric, sometimes you pivot out of it with, you don't touch the subject at all. You leave it alone. And then if they come, and Eric, you've seen it. A lot of times they won't come back at you.
Well, and like, Tubb, that's a good segue into like my next question to add on to the conversation is like, how much of these handouts that we're talking about are even available or at the local level? You know what I mean? Like that's a pivot. It's like, well, a lot of the things you're talking about are state or national. Social Security, like, so city council doesn't really have there's a few, I don't know, or not organizations, I guess organizations or committees or whatever, but a lot of what your constituents probably talking about, you aren't even get a chance to vote on. You know what I mean? So that's pivot there in a way, right?
Right. So because what we have here now is we know here in town, they're spending a lot of money downtown. And a lot of people who live in Jacksonville don't go downtown. Like that is not their concern. And so the other day they passed a thing and they're making a big deal out of it, how they have funding for low income houses. Now what they're doing now here's the thing. When I heard it, I'm like, okay, I'm not necessarily against this. Okay. What it is, and I don't like the idea of government making home loans. Okay. But that's what they're doing for these low income houses. They got a certain amount of them. I think there's 10 of them to start out with. And they gave the funding, but it's a loan. I'm like, all right, hang on. I'm listening to this. I don't like the idea, but hey, guess what? It's not a handout. We're getting it back. And then here's how I kind of went to the other side of that to address the pivot, if you will, was, okay, hey, listen, at least they're willing to do that. That's fine. I said, but it seemed odd that for low income families, you get a loan, but for the billionaire downtown, he's just getting money.
Yeah, he's just getting a gift.
He's just, and then they're like, wait, and so you kind of, you
That's what I'm talking about, comrade, class warfare.
There you go. We hate those billionaires.
All right, so let me ask you this. I want Tubb to knock on my door right now. You go ahead, Tubb. I want you to knock like you're knocking on my door, and I'm going to answer the door. We're going to do a little skit here.
Candidate Tubb.
Candidate Tubb.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Marcus, young man, is
You don't know
the
my
one-
name?
Yes, I
He
do.
does.
Yes, I do, because I got the information. I
All
know
right,
who
well,
you are.
All right,
Okay, yeah.
Tub, seriously, is that how you
Okay.
would knock on the door?
Yeah.
All right,
seriously.
so all right,
Knock
I'm
on
telling
the
you right now,
sidewall right
if
there.
if Tub came up to my door and said my government name, I'm closing the door and I'm saying get a warrant. Get a warrant. That's all.
Mark,
all right, so
nope.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead, Tub.
okay, so listen, it starts simple. Hey, listen,
Well,
I'm Tub. I'm running for city council. I'm doing it mainly because I live in this district. I care about this district, and I found that we don't get enough voice inside of this district. What's going on with you?
man, I'm just trying to feed my kids up in here. What you over here bothering me about right now?
And the thing is, you ain't role playing at all. That's how you say
That's
that.
his sister.
I'm just saying that's what Americans think right now. They're just trying
Yeah,
to feed
hey,
their
I'm
kids.
just trying to put food on the table.
Okay, so inside of you trying to feed your family, because listen, we're all dealing. I lead a small church. I see what people are going through. I see the issues. I say, now we have a community. We have a community inside of our church where our goal is to help each other. Now, the best thing that we can do is to not have you rely on government, because I think you've seen government's not going to fix that. The best thing that we can do is get community involved, because the more that you keep thinking government's going to be the one that's going to come fix me, you're going to find out government's not. So what we really should be asking government is, hey, what can you get out? How can you get out of my life so that I can afford to feed my family?
But they said they're going to get us jobs downtown. They said that when we get the stadium, we're going to get good jobs and stuff. So why should I vote for you?
Okay, so I need you to understand something. That yes, those jobs that are coming downtown, you understand that most of those jobs, first off, are temporary. Once the construction is done, and now bear in mind, when they put those jobs in, they put the bidding in, they don't have to use Jacksonville companies. They can use whatever companies they want. So the job that you might get there is going to be temporary while it's built. Now, here's the other side of that. Once it's built, the employees that they bring in, which they don't tell you, are part-time employees. And by part-time, I mean there are a few hours on a Sunday afternoon, 8 times throughout the year. So they may be telling you one thing, but in reality, it's really not going to help you put much food on your table. Will it supplement? Can you go down and get that? Yes. But let me ask you a question. How much are you already willing to spend out of your house so that they can build that for something you're ultimately not going to win out in anyway?
I don't want to pay for none of that. I don't want to pay for any of them. So how do you fix that?
So, hey, I am Tub, and it is nice to meet you, because I don't want to pay for it either. Okay, I'm tired of giving my money to places and things down there that I don't care about. I said, how often do you want to go downtown? Nobody goes downtown. We don't want to be downtown. I said, so guess what? I can't control the 18 others, but I can sure start some influence. I can sure start making them accountable for their decisions about why they keep putting your money over there. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I default to zero spending. If it's a spending bill, I start at no. And then they have to change my mind from there.
I love you.
All right, can I get some of that brisket you got going on back there? It's not too spicy,
so-
is it?
No.
So, hey, Tub, I got one critique on that, and it's that last point. That last point where you're like, I'm one voice out of 18. That's also a good plug to be like, but your voice matters more. And if you started going to city council meetings and you started speaking up against the spending, they would listen to you, the constituent, and a vote more than they would listen to me now.
But when you go and do that,
ain't nobody got time for
right.
that.
So but I had to go.
Well, yeah, now you don't want to say that to a Democratic. You don't want to say that to a Democratic socialist that's going to go in there and like rail for more government spending. But I'm saying that situation where he's like, I don't want them spending my money down there anyways.
Anyway,
boom, you need to go downtown and tell them yourself. But until then, vote for me.
And know that you finally have an advocate on city council for the same thing.
Exactly. And I won't ignore you. And I'll make you an honored guest. Anyway,
I get you on a podcast with a black man.
Yeah, I get you on a podcast.
That's right.
I know people.
I'm telling you, use me. Use
I know
my
a black
power.
guy. I got a black guy. I just knocked on his virtual door. He loves me now.
Use the dark side of the force. All right, so we're going to start wrapping this up. We're going to pass the mic to DL with your final question, comments for Pastor Tub here Tub for 10. Let's go.
Number 10.
All right.
I need to find. Yes, sir.
Are you throwing gang signs at me, or is that
I'm
arthritis?
trying to. I got to find out good for Tub for 10.
He has arthritis. Give him a break.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure which one it was, but all right. So you're running in this election. Is there anybody that you're teaming up with, that you're going to be working with, that's also running? Because I know that we've got an event coming up on April 10th,
Yes.
and there's going to be like 3 other people there, the other Libertarian, Addison Patrick, and then there's going to be Denise Cook. Actually, that was kind of a surprise. I know who Denise is. I did not expect her to run, but that's cool. And then fourth one, I forgot the fourth one.
Ron Armstrong for mayor.
Ron Armstrong. Yeah. Sorry about that. And then, so are you teaming up? Are you guys all kind of working together ish, or like, in other words, are you coalition
grassroots movement,
like for the campaign?
All right. So to say that we're working together ish, I'm going to say no. Here's
coalitioning or anything like that.
Right. No, here's the only reason I say no, because I would compare it to what we did last cycle with Eric and Tracy and I, and we ran together. Like I found already going to places, like I relied on you guys. We went in together. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be hard for me to ever say I have this, I'm running along with somebody, because it's never going to be the way that Eric and Tracy and I were. It's just not going to be. And so it's always going to be different. So what I have is this. So, Ron Armstrong, for example, he's probably right now the front running Republican, honestly. Mm-hmm. Now there's a couple names they're talking about probably going to drop in, and that's going to shove him back a lot. But it's funny because a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, some people have started kind of lumping us together, Ron and I, because we message each other, we talk to each other, stuff along those lines.
You're Christians.
Yes. But there's also a number of things where he has some libertarian thinking. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, he has some libertarian ideas.
Dude, and so I share all of his stuff he does about volunteerism, like getting the community out there to get a tree off of a guy's house so he doesn't get fined by the city. He's getting companies to volunteer their time to go do it for free. Like, dude, I'm telling you.
So
he's making moves. Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's doing the things we go, that's right. Go out and do it. Be the example of it. And he's doing that. So here's the thing, though. So I would say that there are some, candidates. Now, bear in mind, we're just getting moving in this. So as the things start picking up more, you'll start kind of finding, who do I really kind of find my way in with? This is what we did last time. We had us 3, and then, like you found with like Mike Gay, I actually found someone in the Democrat Party, and then you start finding, here are my ones. As we start hitting him, Reginald Blunt was a guy that we kind of, he was outside of our party, but we kind of was like, hey, we're good. In fact, I would even now
run
he's
around and tell people.
School board member.
He's on school board now. Yep. And it was funny because like when I was running, he was running against me, and I remember I would tell people, I say, listen, if you're not going to vote for me and you're going to vote Republican, I get it. I get it. There's 2 Republicans in the race. And I said, vote for Reginald. But like he's and he like now he's friendly to us. You know what I'm saying? Like
Marcus, he's the black guy.
He's the black guy. Sorry, I'm going to take over your spot, Marcus.
Shocked. Yeah, I'm truly shocked. Be honest with you.
But here's what I'm saying. So I say, no, I'm not running with them as of yet. Now, like I said, we are starting the conversations, and I'm kind of surprised by a couple of them also. But I would say that we're open that if you see us together, if we're in the same place, you're going to see us together. If that's kind of what you mean. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Well, like tonight.
The same organizations are going to reach out to y'all and ask y'all to speak at their events.
And now let me tell you this. I have had conversations with a certain leader inside the Republican Party.
Yeah.
And so we meet and we talk, and he passes numbers off for me. He's like, hey, get a hold of these people, get a hold of this person, do these type of things. And now bear in mind, the only reason he's doing that is because there's not a Republican in the race, and there's not going to be one. Okay. So I'm going to say yes and no. I'm going to say, yes, I'm working with them. You see it coming, but no, because it's not like the way it was for the 3 of us.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, whenever it was 3 libertarians that before any of us filed any paperwork, we were meeting at a Dunkin' Donuts on Dunn Avenue, I I think once every week.
Had we not filed yet?
No, legit. We were trying to figure out the paperwork to do
Because that's
the
when I
tax
shifted. That's right.
document. And y'all realized y'all were in the same district. And then now, had we waited till redistricting, you both could have been in separate district races, but it was too late. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, like we were legit. We weren't even filed yet the first several meetings at Dunkin' Donuts because we were all trying to navigate it, man. You're new. You never ran for office. There's the IRS is involved, tax documents, and you got to make essentially a small business. You know what I mean? Like it. You got to get a treasurer. Thank you, Joe Sokol. Name.
I got Joe Sokol.
A shout out. He's the man.
I got me a Joe Sokol.
But yeah, it's crazy. Hey, and I just want to say this to you, Tub. I know we're already over an hour. You're probably ready to go. DL's looking sleepy. And DL, you too.
Sleepy time for DL.
It's
like time to go to bed.
I seriously, I have to you too, Marcus. I wouldn't know any of y'all if I had never ran for city council. Let's think about that. I got lifelong friends.
I don't know if that's
here.
a selling point.
No. Well,
he's talking about for us too.
About you,
okay.
Marcus.
Run for office, make friends.
Yeah, something about you, Marcus. But seriously, this conversation wouldn't be happening. Right. I wouldn't have Tub and DL friends I could reach out to anytime I need to. You know what I mean?
What about me?
If I had never ran for office.
Remember
I included you, and then you kicked yourself out.
Yeah, you ruined it. We don't want to include you. But here's what you're saying about
seriously,
that. Remember, before we got started, and Melissa came in, and you started talking to her, talk about the baby, and all those type of things, because that's what it stemmed into. Like
my wife and Tub's wife probably text more than Tub and I do.
Oh, probably so. Yeah, in reality, because they're like,
I don't really blame you,
libertarians.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like they're normal. We're libertarians, so there's that.
That ruins it.
Yeah. All right, Eric. Did you have any closing comments or questions for Pastor Tub for 10?
Tub, I'm off tomorrow. Give me a phone call. Let's talk shop for a little bit.
Okay.
Call me. Or right after this. I don't care. I'm just kidding. It's late. But call me tomorrow. We'll talk shop. I want to know how the campaign's going. Strategy stuff you're not willing to put out there publicly.
Right.
DL. Okay. Also, anytime
call him too. DL, you call him too.
Call me too.
DL, we need to schedule that dad talk. I know we tried before.
Yeah.
Your schedule's really inconvenient, so we'll work on
No, he's doing nighttime stuff.
No, your schedule is inconvenient.
So I reserved
that was the joke.
a.m. and then 6:30 p.m. Can you do either one of those?
Sometimes, maybe.
If not, we can figure out another time.
Yeah. No, my schedule is the problem. That was a joke because I got a rotating schedule. I work like a 2-2-3 12-hour shifts. It's weird.
2-2-3.
Half weekends off, half weekends on, basically.
You need to work a 5-5-6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, DL,
I got
I'm
one of
coming
those.
on yours in a couple weeks, correct? I'm coming on yours.
The 23rd, you scheduled for 7:30 p.m.
Yes, sir.
23rd of April.
Oh, so he gets special privileges?
No. He's telling you can do that too.
I can do a 7:30
So what
PM.
what I did, Eric, I got tired of messing up all the scheduling. So I dug into it and I found out that Gmail has bookings and you can set up like specific time slots and then just send people a link and be like, find a time slot that I've designated that works for you. And then you don't have to try to communicate to like 14 people at the same time and get it. Like it was a lifesaver.
It was nice. It was pretty easy.
We'll do that next time.
If you want to do it like us, just make Joe Hanush, pass it off to Joe Hanush.
Just be, or like me texting DL 2 weeks ago, like, hey, we're going to have Tub on. You want to do this?
You asked him this 2 weeks ago, and Marcus gave it up in the last 30 seconds?
Yeah.
That was pretty good, but we were like 3 minutes out. I just wanted to make sure.
I was like, where's good. I texted DL. Anyways.
At any rate,
it's
my turn.
But I forgot.
Hey,
it's my turn. Okay. So first off, I want to lead off by saying thank you to Tub. Not only thank you for being the co-host on the Black Powder podcast, but thank you for stepping up to the plate and running for office and showing a lot of libertarians, not me, but showing a lot of libertarians out there that it's the walk more than the talk. and you have to be out there. It's no matter how you live your life, it's how you present yourself, not what you say, but it's your deeds that carry more weight than your mouth. So I want to thank Tub for going out there, putting himself out there and running for office and showing America what libertarians are about. Because I think Tub is a we talked earlier this week, and he joked with me. He's like, I'm out. I'm done with the podcast. And I told him I was like, okay. And he's like, that's it? I was like, well, yeah, you're doing this out of the kindness of your heart. I can't expect you to keep carrying on if this is not what you want to do, but I appreciate your contributions. But I also told him I think he's an integral part. He brings an element of levity and seriousness to this podcast that Eric simply doesn't do.
Doesn't do it.
Hey,
Eric doesn't bring any of that. I'm just kidding. But
it's just good to see you say this stuff to his face. The stuff that you text me about him.
Well,
it's good to see
like,
you say it.
I'm the lighthearted, lovable redneck on this podcast. I'm here for that.
Eric, you do bring you bring the down home, because I've never met a person from Florida with a Southern accent until you.
Because nobody's from Florida.
No.
Yeah, I'm actually from Florida and I don't live there no more. So anyway.
Yeah, and I always thought that was interesting. And Eric just has a heart of gold. Eric just wants to he wants the best for all Americans, and he put his life on the line for this country to do so. And we're forever indebted to him. But Tub
so did DL.
And my bad, DL.
Kinda.
Well, I don't really like to acknowledge Tub too much. I'm kind of twisted up and torn saying these nice things about Tub as it is right now.
That's the part of this whole podcast I'm going to snip out.
Save the insults for when he's not our guest. How about that, Marcus?
But like I said,
I'm never coming back on again. I'm done.
A politician, we got to bully them.
Yeah. I want to get a snippet where Tub says he hates the show like he did with Free on his show. Where
Dude, that's still part of his intro.
Yeah. It's intro and outro. Yeah.
Isn't it like the last thing that you hear on his intro?
Last thing. I hate this show.
I hate this show.
I want to put up the link again. Once again, put your money where your memes are. Send Tub a few bucks, whatever you could do, because we have to start getting serious about this as libertarians. We can't just be based individuals that want to make memes and do cool stuff on social media and then watch Democrats and Republicans just slog all over our rights. This week, they raised the military age to 42. So there's a lot of, including myself, there's a lot of people out there that are now eligible for the draft.
You ain't even close.
Oh, no. They didn't say 62. They said 42.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm glad I can't. I'm not shaving my beard. I'll put it that way.
Well, I have a plan for my son. I'm going to put him in a dress and stick a joint in his mouth. And when he goes to the recruiter office, they're not going to take him. So
the Navy will still take him.
No, well, the Navy. But like I said, thank you, Tel, for running and coming on. And so with that being said, we're gonna real quick, DL, we want to before we hand it off to Tub to say his final things, give a shout out to your podcast and how people can get in contact with you real quick.
Sure. So I host the Liberty Dad podcast at 7:30 in the morning Eastern time, Monday through Friday. I like to talk about politics and culture. Fridays, I do my dad talk. So what I basically do is I bring on a dad and I talk to him about what is important to him so that I can raise dad voices, or I talk about something from the perspective of a man, a father, or a husband, or some variation of all three. And so I do that on Fridays. Mondays are kind of my favorite day. I dive in, I do a bill review. I generally do a bill review. That's where I just grab a piece of legislation, I read it, I talk about it kind of in depth. I dig in. I might do that with a court ruling or an executive order. Basically, any edict that comes from government, I'm liable to talk about on those days. So join me 7:30 a.m. Eastern time if you can make it. You can go to youtube.libertydad.com. You can go to rumble.libertydad.com, x.liberty. You just basically put whatever social media and then .libertydad.com, and you'll probably find me. So
thank you
check
for
that out.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on and helping us out today with this special guest. When I say special, I really mean that in the educational sense. Hey, D said if Tub could get some jabs in, so can Marcus in the comments. So I'm just following. If you got a problem, that's it wasn't D, it was Terry. My bad, Terry.
I didn't see. Terry is part of that horrible show. Why are we even listening to her?
All right. So with that being said, we all had our closing statements. We're going to pass it off to our esteemed guest, Mr. Tub Rorabaugh. Thank you very much for coming on. Please give your closing statement and how people can reach you, help you, and whatever you need.
So first off, you brought DL on here, and here's what's funny. He was the surprise into this. DL was also a surprise at my 50th birthday party. That we had a small game.
That was 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. There was 10 for yours.
10 years
10
ago.
for yours. But DL is always the surprise in my life with certain events. Now, with that, listen, my goal in running, first off, is to be better for the city of Jacksonville, realistically. But in all honesty, it's bigger because I do want to be, what I say all the time, I want to be an effective voice for liberty. Like, I want to be able to go out and represent the Libertarian Party well, because we don't always have that. So I've been saying, going through this whole thing, my whole thing's been, let's do different. Like, let's do different. And then the idea of doing different is, let's do different with our thinking now. Let's get out of our tribal beliefs and start saying, hey, wait a minute. I don't have to stay in my same group. I can do something different. I can hear different. Be willing to listen to something different. Let's do different when it comes time to vote. Because I often tell people, I say, listen, I said, everybody's a libertarian until it's time to vote. So I'm stressing to people, hold the different opening of your mind all the way until voting day. And then let's do different after I get in office, where you have an expectation finally for government and for elected officials to actually have some accountability back to the people again. Now, the thing is, the part that I hate, I'm going to hate the part that I'm about to say. I need money to make it happen. That's the reality. And I hate it. The conversations I've had, I don't like hitting people up for money. It's not my thing. I'm horrible. Eric will tell you, I'm horrible at it. I'm horrible about asking for money. But I believe that since we do it with a goal, the last time when I was running, I remember that day, I put a post and I said, hey, guys, I'm not going to do petitions. I'm going to raise the funds. And that day, Libertarians stepped up well. I'm not going to lie to you. Libertarians came through big on that day. And a number of people came up, and within a couple of weeks, we had all the money that we needed. So I'm just going to ask that maybe Libertarians step up again. This show is good about raising funds. This show made me start donating to candidates again. We bring candidates on. You know what? And Marcus, you do it. You sell me out every time. Put your money where your memes are. And I don't meme, but I still got to put some money behind it. In fact, it was because of this show why I started doing monthly donations to Larry Sharp. Now, I have nothing to do with New York, but you know what it is? He's a good messenger for liberty. So I too want to be a good messenger for liberty. And if I am, I'm going to ask you to do what Marcus says. Throw some money at the account. Let's get the money raised, and let's move on with campaigning, knowing that I got my ballot access secured. And I believe it can be done.
Very well said.
Right.
All right. So once again,
kick me off. Remember, I'm not at the end of the show anymore. Hey, thanks, guys. Hey, DL, thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely.
Okay, kick me off.
all right, we'll kick you off. All right, bro.
That's the new plan. Remember, that's the new plan. Kick me
We'll
off.
do it. We're not scared.
Yeah, my bad. I kicked him off a little too soon.
No,
my bad.
that's hilarious. No, kick him out.
All right.
No, all right, now kick me out.
Okay, thank you, Tub. All right. So
so
this has
fun.
been the Black Powder Podcast. I want to plug our guests for next week. We have Amity Lee coming on next week. Let me make sure I get her moniker right, because I asked what she is. She's a Catholic libertarian activist and influencer committed to promoting the consistent ethic of life. So next week we're diverging a little bit from the candidate things, and we're just going to talk to an everyday libertarian about libertarianism, that hopefully this message can inspire others to be a part of that message and this thing that we go, this movement we have going on, the Liberty Movement. So shout out to Amity for coming on next week. Liberty, Amity is legit. Thank you very much. Eric, you got anything?
Tub ain't here, but thanks for being here. Tub, I already said that. DL, thanks for doing this. I'm glad I gave you several weeks notice. Still kind of last minute. I know you got a busy schedule.
It's all good.
But we'll definitely link up whenever our schedules make sense.
Yeah, I'll reach out.
I didn't feel like, because you basically said, I was in the delivery room and you're like, yo, as soon as that baby's out, let's do a podcast episode. Not really. But
I brought Ben Weir on like the first week that he was a dad. He got on the show.
And that's where,
was like,
and I was like, no,
like
I don't know. I don't know. Don't ask me.
Eric coming up short.
You know what I mean?
You could have really did that.
No, dude, I legit was like, let me figure this out first.
Right.
This whole dad thing. So, and usually I do wear a girl dad hat, but I changed it up. This is a Burial Beer Co. out of Asheville.
Gotcha.
Anyways,
right.
But I'm just saying we'll link up soon.
Sounds good.
All right. With that being said, this has been a Black Powder Podcast, the only real libertarian podcast out there. As we always end our episodes with this classic. We made this up too. This is directly from the Black Powder Podcast. This didn't exist before this podcast came into being, with our phrase, live free or die.
Or die.
No outro video. Peace. It's off a cliff. Later.
Okay. Bye.